But in Southeast Asia, it's very strong everywhere. Even today, you can see, like the king of Thailand, the previous one, I think they recently changed their king. Well, he was known as King Rama the Fourth, even though they have rejected Hinduism and have become Buddhists. And Cambodia is unique. They still accept both Hinduism and Buddhism. So half their flag is yellow and half is white, with the Angkor Wat in the middle. And the Angkor Wat is the oldest Vishnu temple in the world. It's not functional. It was discovered by a Frenchman who was chasing a butterfly in the forest, and he found this huge temple totally overgrown. It's 12th century, and there's a whole complex, 200 such temples around there, the Angkor Wat in Cambodia.
Have you ever heard
But
what
there is
that
also
means?
8th century Hindu ruins in just north of Penang in Malaysia, in Kedah. I forgot the name of those ruins. I haven't seen it yet. So that goes back to the 8th century. And well, you can see the Malay language. They don't have any script. They use the English alphabet, the Roman alphabets to write. But most of their words come from Sanskrit directly. And there were the kings of from India and royalty from China who had married and set up the big Hindu kingdom, which was based in Malacca. Malacca is halfway between Kuala Lumpur and Singapore. It was a huge kingdom. It controlled the whole of Indonesia and made it part of the Philippines as well. And it was King Parameshwara who converted to Islam. He became Iskandar Shah, according to the records, what we were taught in school. And then he made all his citizens in that region become Muslims. So that's the most populous Muslim country in the world. And but they are still very proud of their Hindu culture. I was there once when they were showing the Mahabharata series on TV, and what would happen was whenever it came on, the whole country would come to a standstill, and the crime rate shot up like anything because people were all mesmerized by the TV program.
So in which country was this?
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
And then even today their national art form is Ramayana. And then the police were putting warnings up on the TV, reminding them, please go and lock your front door and come back and watch this program. And I believe that TV series was, I recently came across this somewhere, it was the most viewed and most translated television series ever.
Do you have a translation for the word Angkor Wat?
Oh, okay. I think Wat means temple. And what is Angkor Wat? I came across it in the brochures when I visited Cambodia, but I've forgotten now. I'm sorry. But it's massive. But I remember a friend who actually, you remind me of him. He was a CNN journalist. Dana is his name, Dana. I bumped into him when I was in the airport, and we've been in touch by email ever since. And he told me one day, I want to take you to the Angkor Wat, because I want to just see, you'll be so proud to be a Hindu, he said, if you see that wonderful construction. It's supposed to be like a duplicate of Sri Rangam temple, 7 walls, and it's huge. It's bigger than Sri Rangam. And I think it was, they estimated the population of, was it 1 million? Oh no, a population of I think 1 million or 10 million at that time. They said that it would have been the biggest city in the world at that point in history.
Do you have any idea when that was? What time?
Yes, what I heard, but I don't believe much in these modern archaeologists dating, but they say that that structure appears to be 12th century dating, but perhaps there are inscriptions and carvings there. But the ruins in Kedah in Malaysia, near Penang, are said to be 8th century, but smaller, but it's there. And in Yogyakarta, I think there's Prambanan. In Prambanan, they have a huge temple of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. And that dates back very far. The local law, and there's a temple of, it seems that Agastya Muni's Murti is on the side. Agastya is a great Vedic sage from Tamil Nadu. And it seems he had come over there, and that's the history. Because Bali is the only island that has retained its Hindu culture. And I asked our Balinese friends there, how is it so that you did? And they said, well, we had a very strong Kshatriya spirit, and our policy was every man, woman and child, old or young, on the battlefield. Do or die. And so they were able to repulse every attack. It was only after the invention of gunpowder with firearms that the Dutch were able to subdue them. But they retained their Hindu culture unbroken. And you see, they're very gentle and cultured. And like every home in Bali, they don't allow buildings more than 2 or 3 stories in Bali. And every home must have a tree.
Oh, there was something about, did Maximula recant his ideas in the last part of his life?
Yes, I heard that, I think in the last book that he published, he had mentioned some great appreciation for the Vedic wisdom, and he wrote a sentence to this effect: whether the Vedic scriptures are 1500 years old or 15,000 years old, it doesn't matter. They certainly have a unique and important place in the history of mankind, and they have something very special to reveal to the world.
And what did your Guru Maharaj say about, did you ever hear him ever speak about when they actually started writing down Sanskrit as a language? Because I think it was held in memory for some time.
Right. This is very interesting. It was the British who introduced Devanagari script as a standard for Sanskrit. And that was because they wanted to print it and so on. But scholars of Sanskrit are present all over India, and they would always use their mother tongue. It was not necessary to learn it in Devanagari, because previously it was handed down by oral tradition. And speaking of which, it's very interesting, in the Sri Vaishnavas in South India, Ramanuja synthesized, you might say, the teachings of the 12 alvars. These 12 alvars are incarnations of the Lord himself and his various weapons and associates. They all incarnate, and each of them worshipped a particular deity of the Lord and composed songs in classical Tamil, which is something just like classical Sanskrit, classical Tamil is supposed to be a language which was created by Lord Shiva, according to a Puranic history. And there are 4,000 such songs which combined together they call the Veda of South India. It's called the Divya Prabandham. And there are many people living in India today, Sri Vaishnavas, who know this by heart. I have a friend, Chakra Prabhu, who is the chief priest of the Ashtalakshmi temple in Chennai. He and all his godbrothers, they know these 4,000 Divya Prabandham songs by heart. And if any one of them starts singing one of the songs, all the others will, in harmony and rhythm, join in immediately and chant it with him. So it shows the human brain is capable of such things, but it's the chanda or the meter within the mantras that makes it. That's the key to remembering the mantra. Without meter, it would be. If it was in prose, very hard to remember, I think. And yes, the writing down form. Ganapati broke his task to write for Veda Vyasa. Veda means knowledge. The original Veda is one, and Vyasa means to divide, because Veda, Vyasa is the incarnation of God who divided the one Veda into four. Because in Kali Yuga, I think people don't have enough memories to. And Ganapati became his scribe for writing the Mahabharata, in which the Gita is contained. And it is said that before that, because the beginning, if you see in Brahma Samhita, Krishna taught the Veda to Arjuna, not to Arjuna, to Brahma. And through Brahma, his sons and disciples, it was coming down to human society. But when Vedavyas came, he divided into four, and he put certain families in charge of each. He trained certain Brahmins from this family in the Rig Veda, others in the Yajur Veda, others in Atharva Veda, so that it would continue. And at that time onwards, it was put down in writing and leaf scrolls and passed on.
Can you recite that the invocation of Sri Brahma Samhita?
Oh, the Ishvara Parama. Yes, okay, I will gladly do so. Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Sing with me. Ishvara Parama Krishnaha Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govindaha Sarvakarana Karanam. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I don't mean to boast, but I really believe it's just by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga that so many of these things I've discovered in teaching Sanskrit pronunciation, they've just been like revelations in my heart. I never had any formal training in it, and I'm now that I have, if you see my website, there are some certificates professors of Sanskrit from South India have given me, saying my pronunciation is perfect. And this tune also, it just came to me one day when I was sleeping, like with a voice there saying, oh, one day you'll make the whole world sing this tune, so don't forget it. So I immediately got up and recorded it down, and I mean, I don't know anything about music or whatever, but I feel it's something much bigger than me, and I really feel a burden to share it and get it off. So that this business of having to learn hundreds of alphabets to learn Sanskrit can be totally removed by using the Romanized Sanskrit, because the Roman script is known to everyone. And you just have to know, like when you put a dot underneath, you put your tongue in there, dot, and you get it correct. So simple. Because the Sanskrit scholars I met in India, they admitted we had a bias against Romanized Sanskrit. Because when we see your Hare Krishna devotees on television, they mispronounce the mantra so badly, and we know they are reading the Romanized script, but it sounds like English. So we thought that there is no hope for that. But then they said that when they heard me chanting, then they realized, and then when they look at it logically, it's logical. I can put circles and triangles, I can invent my own alphabet, as long as I know which symbol represents which sound and my tongue goes to the correct place.
Very good. Do you know, this is maybe a little bit off cuff, do you happen to know the invocation for the Sri Upanishad?
Oh, I think I do. Would it be Om Purnamada Purna?
Yes.
And what is the first verse? The Ishavasya. I used to mix those two up.
Well, the invocation is Om Purnam.
It is Om. And then the first verse will be Ishavasya.
Yes.
So you want me to chant Om Purna?
Yes, please.
Okay, I hope I get it right.